Hey guys, welcome to another video series where I'm gonna show you how you can use Mediapipe plugin in your own project. In this project, for example, I will take a small bracelet project example where you will be able to show the bracelet on your wrist. So without wasting time, let's get started. Okay, so let's create a new project here. 2020. Let's call it bracelet. Oops, check bracelet. That will be good, I think. I'm gonna put it inside. Yeah, test video will be good. Select this folder and create. So once the project is created, we will just need to copy each and every file we have in the Mediapipe folder. So let's wait for this, and once it is finished, I'll continue. Okay, seems like our project is initiated. Now let's just open it in Explorer. So what I'm gonna do is I'll copy each and everything which is required to develop this project from the Mediapipe Unity plugin to our project. So let's do that real quick. First of all, we need this package, which is Mediapipe. So open the package, just copy it like this. And we have some bunch of other scripts as well inside assets which we need to copy. So let's go to assets, then open Mediapipe. I think you should probably copy the whole Mediapipe folder. So I'm gonna do that as well inside assets. So copy this meta file as well. I believe we should also copy the streaming assets. So let's copy this all of these files. Okay, pretty cool. Now inside Mediapipe, samples and scripts, we need these scripts which we'll use and we'll modify them. So these are the main scripts which were initiated when we run that multiple graph program of, like, it was a I think it was desktop demo from the author. Okay, pretty cool. So let's go ahead. We also need to copy a bunch of other things. Inside assets, we have copied each and everything. Let's go to assets group, and then inside scene, we don't need scene right now. Yeah, also if you want, you can remove these scenes because we don't require them right now. So let's just delete it. And then we also don't need other graphs, right? So in this project we'll only gonna use this one, hand tracking. So let's just delete all of them besides. Okay, pretty cool. Now we need this materials, we need the scripts as well. These are the other meta files we obviously required. Okay, now we need to create something which will initiate the project. Okay, the initial script. So to do that, we just need to go ahead and open the project. Inside project, now a lot of scripts are loaded, but it might fail because we just copied them. Okay, so let's try to modify them as well. Okay, let's go to Mediapipe, samples, not this one. I think we need to go into packages, Mediapipe, runtime, and then inside plugins, and click on lib Mediapipe DLL, and make sure you have checked this load on startup. Also for this one, OpenCV1, so make sure this checkbox is checked. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's explore the scripts as well. So for that, let's go to Mediapipe. Inside Mediapipe, we have samples and we have scripts. So in their example, the whole program is initiated with this script. So let's just open it. Okay, so here is our script, which is scene director class, and inside that we will gonna modify something. So to make sure that we are not using extra stuff which is used in that official project. So let's go ahead. First of all, we need this use GPU, and for now let's just consider these variables as well. Let's check for functions, the methods. So on enable is just, I think, for debugging purposes, so let's keep it. Let's also keep them. This one, webcam screen. This one is, I believe, a game object, and we need to find it from scene. So let's just go to scene and create our own webcam screen. So let's create a game object here. 3D, I think plain would be good, or maybe, yeah, plain would be good. And let's also name it webcam screen. Okay, so let's modify it a little bit. So let's give it rotation -90 here, and let's also try to scale it a little bit of the width. So press R and make a little bit wider. I think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Also, we can shift it a little bit based on our view. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, so now we have created the game object for webcam screen. Let's move forward. So here we have a resource manager. I believe this is a empty game object, so let's create it as well. Let's create a empty game object and name it resource manager. Apart from this, let's also repeat this. I think we need to get this as well. This is because of the unit editor. So okay, on disable, we need this lifecycle method. Change webcam. So this one is, let's check where from it is called. So let's copy it and search for it. Yeah, so it is not being used in this script. So, and I believe that some other script is using this function. So let's see. I think this one, webcam screen controller. If you open this and search for the scene method, no, it is not there. Selector controller, yeah, this one should have this one. Yeah, here it is. So whenever you change the value of the webcam, it reflect here. On value change is called, and whenever it is called, it is getting the device and changing the device basically using this scene director. Okay, so let's put this setting in our scene director, because we need to remove this selector which we are using. So we will go to our scene director, and because we just need the first one, so we'll check for the length of the devices. Like, let's suppose if we don't have any device available, so if the length is greater than 0, then we'll get the first device which we found, else we just need to return null. I think we need to import it as well. Let's check what's wrong with that. So cannot implicitly convert bool to, okay, my bad. So we need to add question mark here as well. Here you go. So we'll get the first device which we found inside whenever we get the list of the devices. Okay, so this is the first thing which we need to do, which this script is doing. Another thing is they are also setting up the device, so we just need this code right here and just paste it here. So this will change the device. So initially, because we need to set the device, that's why we are calling this. So okay, pretty cool. So we are setting our own, like we are getting the device, we are setting it as well. Now let's move ahead. What else we have? So this function is there, and also keep this in your mind that we also want to remove this script, because we don't want any selector or anything like drop down one. So we are removing the script. We'll remove this script. Let's first complete this one. So yeah, so let's see what reset camera is. So reset camera is just resetting the whole camera stuff. Stop camera is also used in this script, so we don't need to get rid of it. Change graph is also important here, because not really, but we will use it for our initial hand tracking one, because I believe it is not being used here. Yeah. See, so someone else, like any other script, is setting the graph, which is also a kind of drop down selector. So let's figure out which script is setting it. So I think this one, graph selector controller, is setting it. So let's see where it is setting the graph. Here you go. So before setting it, it should get the graph as well. Okay. And to get the graph, it needs a list of graph. So here graph is also a game object, so we just need to get it, like we can directly find it. So let's do it as well. Let's create our own graph object. I hope it is not created already. Let's check. I don't think it is. Okay, and inside start function we will initialize this as well. So now the question is how we will get the graph, how we'll find it, because let's try to find it first. So to find it, just write game object, oops, game object dot find, and we need a prefab. There is a prefab there which we need to get. So to find it, just go to samples, graphs. Inside graphs we have hand tracking, and inside that one I believe inside resources, not resources, objects. Yeah, inside objects we have this one which is hand tracking. Okay, so we need this one. We need to find this one. So let's write it. Hand tracking. Oops. This one. Okay. Cool. Now we are finding the our graph as well, which is hand tracking. We need to set this graph as well, like this script is doing. Change graph. So let's do the graph as well. Change graph and graph provided here. So far so good. Okay. So now we are using change graph without using any drop down or anything. Let's go ahead. Start graph is something which will be called here whenever the graph is changed. Okay, so we need that. We need the stop graph as well, so we need this script as well. Set up GPU resource. So whenever you're like when you check the GPU check button, so this, I believe this will set the GPU. It will enable the GPU to be used in this program. So okay, we need that. We need to run graph as well. Okay, we need to wait for graph as well because these are some of the coroutines, I believe. Wait for camera is also required, and so I think we have covered pretty much everything here in this script. Now it's time to remove others which are not required right now. So let's go to scripts, and we don't need this one, I believe. Yeah, before we go ahead, there is one thing which we need to do is we need to assign this webcam screen controller to our game object, which is webcam. So to assign that, just drag this script to the game object which we have. So I want to assign this one and click on webcam, I believe. Okay, so this is assigned here. So that's it for webcam. Now some other stuff which we need to get rid of is we don't need this graph selector controller. So let's remove this. Delete this one. We also don't need webcam selector controller. So let's also delete this one. Okay, pretty good. Now what else we need to do? Let's check for that. Leave it. It's good. It's good now. So we need these drawing scripts. We need to get into some like people level as well, where we will be able to get the key points which were detected in the hand. So before running this, we also need the hand tracking prefab. So we just need to drag it here. So let's go to graphs, hand tracking objects, and from objects we will take hand tracking. We just need to drag it here so that we will be able to find it in the script. Okay, let's jump back to the scripts and let's see what errors we are getting here. These are the compilation errors. It says that we can't do implicit conversion between webcam device and null, so it cannot be null. So let's do one thing. Instead of assigning it null, we can check for it, and just we can check for this condition, and if it is not found, we will show some kind of error in the logs. So for now, let's not do this. Just let's assume that we have the device. Okay. So let's get rid of this as well. Oops. Okay. I think it is good now. So one more thing which we need to do here is we also need a empty game object which will be assigned to this out script to initiate this script. So the name of this script is scene director. So let's just do that. Let's rename it to scene director. Let's also assign this script. So scene director, let's drag it here to scene director. Okay, now it is assigned. Okay, now let's try to run it. Okay, it is created. Something is happening, but it is working. Okay, so to fix that, go to webcam screen, and I think the X value should be rotation value should be 90 and Y will be 180. It should work perfectly now. Let's run it. Okay, perfect. So here's how you can import the official project into your own personal project. The next question people are asking a lot is how we can get these points which are detected. Okay, so to do that, actually you need to understand how run graph is working. So let me explain you a little bit. So here it is obviously waiting for a graph, and some loading is happening here in this part of the code. Some debugging is also there. Some initialization of the graph is also there. So we are getting it from prefab, and we are initializing the graph, and we are also doing start run, and in the while loop we are getting the frames in again and again because this function is inside the coroutine. So it is running independently, and we can run while loop in it. So it is running while loop, and it is asking for next frames, and then once the frame is there, it is inputting the frame inside the graph and computing it, running the inference, and once it is there, it is rendering the output. So this is the the most important function here, which is giving us the output. So if you try to run that, if you try to inspect that and go to this file, you will see nothing because it is an interface, and some other class has implemented this interface, and this class is abstract. This function is abstract. So how you can find that? So it is pretty simple. You just need to find the render output method. You just need to go to samples, graphs, and tracking, and inside hand tracking go to script, and it should be inside the graph one, which is hand tracking graph. Just open that. Inside that you can see this render output function is implemented here. So if you inspect a little bit, you'll find a lot of things from there. So one of the thing is tracking value. So it has a lot of values, a lot of different kind of output. Like if you try to write dot, it will give you a bunch of options like hand tracking list, palm detection, rectangle. So bunch of outputs it is giving to you, and you can easily inspect them, get the values as well. Like in the case of hand landmark, we are getting the list of landmarks. It means like there are gonna be two hands, one, two. So let's suppose if I take first one using the indexing, and then again write dot. So this will give you properties of the first hand. So it has bunch of values here. So the mostly we care about is landmark, this landmark which is detected. Okay, so it is also a index. Okay, so if you access, it is also a kind of list, and if you access the first one, you have a lot of values. Yeah. So here, how you can use it, like if you want to, if you want this point, which is 0, and if you want the x value of it, it will give you. Same for the y, you can get the y value as well, you can get the z value as well. Pretty simple. Now the thing is how you export these values, because you can't use these values. You can use these values here to plot them, but if you want to do extra calculation, I don't think you will be able to do it. So you need to get these values and pass them to your original script, which is scene director. So let's create a callback function here to send out values. So it should be public static void, and we let's name it output callback, and so the type will be list. So to get the list, we need generics from collections using system dot collections dot generic. Okay, so let's define the parameter list of normalized landmark list. Okay, so here we will get the landmark list. First of all, and then let's assign it to the global variable, which is static list of normalized landmark list. Let's name it landmark list. Let's assign this landmark list. So now it is assigned. Let's name it something else. Though it should work, but yeah. Okay, so from hand tracking we need to modify a little bit. What we need to do, we need to send the data here. So to do that, we need to call the callback here. So scene director should be accessible here. Scene director dot our output callback function, and then we need hand value dot landmark list. So in my case, I just need landmarks. Okay. So in your case, you might need form detection or rectangle. So it varies. So you can create according to your own choice. You can create this callback function, or you can pass the whole tracking value as well. Okay. So now will be having these values.
Here's the one thing which is super important here. We will need to transform the normalized points value to the unity's coordinate system so that we can use it in the game. Okay, to do that, we have some inbuilt functions which we can use. We just copied from the author's code, so let's go to it. So to open that, just go to packages. So let's close the assets. Inside packages, you just need to open the Mediapipe. Inside that, runtime, and then scripts and annotation. Inside annotation, just open this first file, which is annotation controller.cs. And here we have two functions which will help us to transform the values from the normalized point to the unity's coordinate system. So just copy them right here and go to our own script, like initial script, which is scene director, and then just paste it here. Sounds good. Now let's then use them in the update function. So just write update. Okay, so in this function we will use this static variable, which is landmark list. So before doing that, yeah, before doing that, we just need to check that whether this variable is null or not. So if it is not null, then only we will use it. And there is one more condition, like let's suppose both the ends are not available there, so we need to put check for that as well. So we just need the count, so at least the count should be greater than 0. And then inside that we can use any of the hand. So let's suppose we take the first hand. So to do that, just define normalized key point list, and here we will define hand, and then we will take the hand from landmark list, the first hand. Okay, so here we got the hand. Now we another check we need to put it right here is like whether we have the points or not. So check that. Another condition, if hand dot landmarks dot count is greater than 0 or greater than 20, because I think we have 21 points here, so greater than 20 will be good. So if we have all the key points, then only we will consider it. Okay, and then just transform any of the point. Like in this case, I just need, let's suppose, thumb. So what I will do is just transform this value. So get position from normalized point, and then we need the screen transform, which is webcam screen dot transform. And another parameters we have is x and y value, because we are currently working on 2D. So let's map the x and y coordinates. So okay, so let's take the x and y here. To do that, we need hand dot landmark, and landmark is a list. So we just need to get the index. So I think the thumb has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth index. So let's define it here, get the x value, same for the y. So hand landmark dot y, yeah, fourth index, and then y. And the last thing we need here is whether it is flipped or not. So in our case it is flipped, the camera is flipped, so we put true. So here we got the we basically got the vector 3, so we can define it like that as well, and we can print it as well. So let's print it, debug dot log, okay, and then thumb, and that's it, I think. So let's try to run it real quick. So if you see the console here, at the left bottom, it is printing some values, right? So it is basically the coordinate of this thumb. So you can play with some other indexes as well. Okay.
I think that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll cover this example of bracelet, and you will be able to develop the bracelet part as well, like any of the application which require hand tracking. So stay tuned for that. If you find any issue, do let me know in the comment. I'll be there to support you. Thank you so much.